Yo, what's good YouTube? ZAMCRO here, aka Scoot, back with the Pokemon Battle Federation, and we have our Season 9, Week number 10 match versus AAA and his Evansville Dewotters, where he's got a pretty scary squad as you see on screen. The Celesteela, Mega Altaria, Toxapex, Celebi, Gengar, Donphan, Incineroar, Primeape, Ditto, Acelgor, and the Electros, where we have Tapu Koko, Kyurem Black, Mega Heracross, Nidoqueen, Ferrothorn, Swampert, Mesprit, Mismagius, Silvally, which is all forms of Silvally, Alomomola, and Entei, where his Zoom users are Celesteela and Primeape, ours are Koko and Mismagius. So yeah, very scary squads on both sides of the field. Looks to be a fantastic match in my opinion, just straight off of the matchup. He does have Celesteela, which is one of the best Pokemon in the format, but I have Koko, which in my opinion is the best Pokemon in the format. So it should be a fun one. It should be a real fun one. And AAA has our number in the PBF. I'm not sure how our face-offs are in the NNDL. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I know in the PBF he's gotten the better of me for the majority of our matches. That being said, I definitely want to get him back. I know he came in at least Season 4 because I remember getting like a loss to him in Season 4 that really put me on the back foot in terms of catching up to playoffs. So, but that was a long time, 5 seasons ago. Anyway, we're past that now. No grudges, but definitely want to pick up some wins here and neutralize all my records. You know what I'm saying? Like my record with AAA. I need to get it a little bit more even. And right now he's got us by a landslide. So we've got Tapu Koko, Kyurem Black, the Nidoqueen, Ferrothorn, Swampert, and Mismagius. I'm not sure if I said we have Mega Heracross, but we do not have Mega Heracross on this squad. So looking at his squad, he has Toxapex, which could get up Toxic Spikes and be very annoying to my squad. He has the Donphan, which can Rapid Spin hazards away, and he can set up Stealth Rocks with Donphan. He can also get up Spikes with the Acelgor. What I did notice though was that he's only got 2 potential Stealth Rockers in Celebi and Donphan, so I know one, if not both, are going to be coming to the match. I know that, and I don't think it would be the Celebi. I think it would be, closer to being the Donphan would be the one that comes. It's a nice Koko answer. That along with Celebi, bringing both of them, plus even the Electros, could be a nice way of dealing with Koko and getting around, the issue that is that monster. So, that being said, I definitely thought he could bring Hazard Stack with something like Gengar to block, not really block, Rapid Spin because I don't have spinners, but I do have defoggers, and he could be like a Scarf variant on Gengar to maybe catch my Koko in a defog, and he switch in hard and go straight for the Sludge Wave and force me out into my Nidoqueen or Ferrothorn or even Swampert to where he could get maybe a top advantage, switch from there, forcing in my more passive mons, and then setting up on him could be very problematic for me. So all the ways that he has to deal with Koko made me realize that Koko probably won't net 5 KOs in this match, but it can do a lot of damage so that my other mons can. So we've got a modest nature Tapu Koko here with 200 attack EVs, so this is pretty powerful. Electric Terrain boosted Thunderbolts. Our item is the Fairy MZ. We don't have like a Life Orb or an Expert Belt or anything this week. I'm relying on the Twinkle Tackle, Nature's Madness into Twinkle Tackle. I think after Stealth Rocks, we'll do away with things like Celebi, Donphan, Electros, all those mons. I do believe will get blown back by Twinkle Tackle at half HP, which is really nice for us. That being said, we do have Nature's Madness and the Dazzling Gleam. Thunderbolt, like I said, boosted by the Electric Terrain. Very nice versus Celesteela, Toxapex. Can really, break down its core. And then we have Roost as our last move. We can Roost up on Celesteela and Toxapex switching out. We can Roost up on Electros. It doesn't really have any ways to blow us back. And then things like maybe Mega Altaria could be a win con, and then he switches out, to save it, and I can roost up on that prediction as well. Next up, we have a Life Orb Kieran Black, our boy King Cold here, rocking a Modest Nature. Didn't really need like a non-attack decreasing nature, so Modest was pretty fine, despite having Fusion Bolt. Ice Beam into Fusion Bolt after Stealth Rocks has the potential to knock out Celesteela depending on his set. Ice Beam blows through things like Mega Altaria, Celebi, Donphan, and things like Gengar, and the Acelgor don't really appreciate it either. I do have Fusion Bolt and Earth Power to hit not only Toxapex, but Earth Power for the Incineroar, which could potentially be an Assault Vest variant, so Earth Power could bounce. But with a Modest Nature and a Life Orb, Kieran Black still, hits like a truck. And over time, it will chip it down with Rocks up, potentially having Spikes up as well. Really, really hurts the Incineroar, so that's something I had in mind as well. And our last move is going to be Roost, so we're the classic Life Orb Roost set with 3 attacks, pretty common in OU, pretty common in Draft League. So yeah, definitely going to be our crutch here. And we do have the Terravolt, so that Electros takes super effective damage from Earth Power, which is really nice. So that's pretty cool. Have enough speed to outpace Mega Altaria, despite a Modest Nature. So we have like nearly max HP, or excuse me, max speed and max special attack, so we're not really bulky. But Kieran Black doesn't really need to be bulky in this match. That being said, that's our 2 main offensive breakers. And next up, we can get into a little bit of a defensive core before we get into mismatches. So we've got a Black Sludge Nidoqueen here with the Sheer Force ability. And that's some knockouts that we may otherwise miss, such as getting a 3-hit KO on Celesteela with Thunderbolt, or a 2-hit KO on the Toxapex with Earth Power, if he's physically defensive. And if he's specially defensive, it just walls us anyway. That's really stupid how strong that thing is defensively. So we're max HP, nearly max defense, kind of a switch into Primeape and the Electros. Can switch into Nidoqueen pretty good with a little bit of special defense investment in terms of like Sludge Wave and things like that. We can take an Earthquake or a return into Earthquake from Mega Altaria, which is really nice. And I don't really expect him to switch in, so that's not too big of an issue. However, we don't carry poison coverage. We're rocking the Earth Power and Thunderbolt. Our last move is Super Fang, which allows us to wear things down like Donphan, Electros, Celesteela, to the point to where we can do work with the rest of our moveset or the rest of our squad in particular. So, that being said, next up we have an Occaberry, or I forgot to say Nidoqueen is our Stealth Rocker. Next up we have Spikes variant for Ferrothorn. I'm not sure that we've even brought Hazard Stack this season, but here we are in week 10, and we've got an Occaberry with Spikes Ferrothorn, Sassy Nature, very, very Spadef. Sorry about that. Very, very Spadef. Can take on Gengar pretty well. Mega Altaria can't knock us out with Fire Blast, which is really nice. Pretty good check to that. And especially if he's Dragon Dance, because Gyro Ball's damage output will be stronger. Can switch into Gengar, like I said, pretty comfortably. Avoids the 2-hit KO from Shadow Ball. Unless he specs, then it does a whole lot. But Gyro Ball, knockoff into Gyro Ball, knocks out Gengar. If knockoff doesn't knock it out. Getting rid of items in general is really nice. His most probable switch in would be the Incineroar, potentially the Celesteela. Getting rid of its items is really nice for me. Can avoid some passive recovery there with leftovers potentially. Next up, we've got a Rindoberry Swampert, our boy Trainwreck here, with the Torrent ability, Bold Nature, a little bit of defense investment, a lot of special defense investment with max HP. We've got Protect, Scald, Earth Power, and Roar. Switches into Incineroar and Primeape pretty well. It can take a hit from basically his entire squad outside of like Celebi and maybe something like Electros or a Acelgor going for Giga Drain or Energy Ball respectively. Gengar's Energy Ball would blow us back as well, but we can switch into things like Donphan, Celesteela, Incineroar, Primeape, physically offensive Mega Altaria pretty comfortably, and we can just roar him out if he wants to set up, or if he's like a sub variant or anything like that. Scald into Earth Power really blows back his squad. He doesn't appreciate that. I had to run Earth. I thought about it. It come down to between Ice Beam and Earth Power. And it was going to be Ice Beam for the Mega Altaria and the Celebi, or Earth Power for the Toxapex. And ultimately decided Toxapex was a issue, so I didn't want to deal with that. Decided to run Earth Power, and I've got Roar for basically anything that wants to try to set up, unless he's got like Taunt, which could prevent me from roaring. Last but not least, we have a Choice Scarf Mismagius with Trick. We can trick things like Toxapex, we can trick Celesteela, Incineroar, the Electros, give it a Choice Scarf, things like that. Cripple them defensively. Could make them a huge offensive presence though, which is something I have to keep in mind. We have a modest nature though, and we can spam Shadow Ball because he does not have a normal type. Which is fantastic for us. Get everything in range of Shadow Ball and we'll be fine. Our moves of coverage, or our coverage moves of choice, are the Dazzling Gleam to hit the Mega Altaria for super effective damage, and the Incineroar for neutral damage, as well as Thunderbolt, which also hits Celesteela for super effective damage, and Incineroar for, again, neutral damage. But yeah, really nice squad here. I felt very comfortable with the squad initially. My first 5 Pokemon were locked in stone, but I played around with my 5th Pokemon. I built 3 squads, one with Silvally, one with Entei, and then ultimately decided that Mismagius was the way to go. So that's going to be the squad, and we can go ahead and hop into the replay. Alright, so AAA decides to bring the Incineroar, Primeape, Ditto, Celesteela, Donphan, and the Gengar. So very scary squad. No Mega Altaria and no Toxapex. I was really happy about that. And we've got Coco. Oh, we've got the squad that we just mentioned in the team building section, so I'm not going to go over that. His only Stealth Rocker in this matchup, though, is the Donphan. He doesn't have any spikes or Toxic Spike opportunities here, which is really nice for me, and he only has Donphan to remove hazards in Rapid Spin, unless, you know, he was to bring like Ditto and try to copy something of mine, which I don't have hazard removal myself. So, that being said, speaking of not having hazard removal, I do have Nidoqueen, so if he did bring Toxic Spikes, I would be able to switch my Nidoqueen in on those and remove those. So, that's the reason I didn't have to bring hazard removal, since rocks and spikes aren't too big of an issue versus me, and the way I'm going to try to play this match. Anyways, his only rocker, like I mentioned, is the Donphan, so Swampert leads off pretty well against that. I could also lead off with my Kieran Black. A couple different options I have to lead with here. Excuse me. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to scout and see what he wants to lead with. I'm going to lead off with my Stealth Rocker. I think rocks are going to be good for me in this matchup, so I'm going to lead off with my Nidoqueen here and see what he's going to do. He may lead with Donphan, but I felt like he wouldn't since I had Swampert and Kieran. And he leads off with the Ditto. And he sees my set, so I'm going to switch out. I don't want to take an Earth Power yet. And I guess he predicts that and goes into a Celesteela on my Ferrothorn. He had to predict my switch because I have Thunderbolt on Nidoqueen, and he saw that, so there's no way he went hard into Celesteela, you know, trying to get my Nidoqueen. Anyways, I'm able to get a Spike up, and I'm also able to roar him out behind the sub there. As he gets up his rocks here, I'm going to take the opportunity to knock his item off, expecting the Incineroar to come in. But I do get rid of his Custap Berry. He gets rid of my Aqua Berry on the following turn as I go ahead and get a Spike up on this turn. Or excuse me, I get a Leech Seed off. And now I'm going to try to Spike up here, I believe, as my opponent goes into the Incineroar on this turn. I may have thrown off a Toxic, but no, I don't think I have Toxic. He throws off a Toxic and I actually stay in and get the Leech off. And now I thought about going into Swampert, but I felt like he might, you know, predict something again. So I tried to stay in there, but my opponent goes ahead and gets rid of my Ferrothorn. I'm going to bring Nidoqueen in, forces him out, and I can go ahead and get my Stealth Rocks up here. And he's revealed Knockoff already, right? Turn 11. And I've got him hazard stacked pretty bad at this point. So him revealing Knockoff already makes me kind of hesitant to go into my Mismagius. But at the same time, it makes him know that I'm hesitant. So what I'm going to actually do is go straight into my Mismagius here. And he does go for the Rapid Spin, and we're able to block that. And we get the roll here. If he was max HP, max Spadef, that was a roll. but we're able to get it there. He goes into his Incineroar, pops his eye Papa Berry, which is really scary for us. So we have to switch out here. We're no longer in a position to knock him out. But he goes for the Darkest Lariat here. I thought I got leftovers back here, but I'm actually a Rainbow Berry variant. So that was a wasted Protect. I guess it kind of scouted for other moves that he could potentially have, though. And I'm able to get big Earth Power off and then roar him out. So when he comes back in on hazards, he does faint. And I'm able to bring in my Nidoqueen here as he brings in his Gengar. And I go straight for the Earth Power as he reveals the Destiny Bond, taking down my Nidoqueen as well. So now Gengar is Primeape is a huge issue if it can lock itself into Gunk Shot. So I have to avoid letting my Kyurem and my Mismagius take too much damage and make sure that I don't let Primeape get out of hand. Here we go for the Twinkle Tackle, wanting to blow back the Ditto, but he calls that, stacks off his Incineroar to the hazards, and brings back in his Ditto here as my Koko and Roost is up. However, he will run out of Roost eventually. He only has 5 of them, so I can just spam Dazzling Gleam here. And the turn before the terrain goes away, I'm going to call him going out to his Celesteela. I go for the Thunderbolt, but he does switch, but he actually goes into Primeape, so that thing's no longer an issue. And now I can just click Thunderbolt here versus the Celesteela. I get the Para, but it's not going to matter as he gets his lead sit off anyway. And even if he went for Protect there, he was still in range of Thunderbolt afterwards. And he brings in his Ditto once again at 10% here, can't live any hit, and definitely can't knock me out from this range. And we're going to be able to pick up a nice 3-0 victory to move ourselves into a better position. Here we are sitting at 6-4 now. One more win could actually put us in position to fight for the 3rd rank, the 3rd seed, which would be insane if we were able to pull that off. We need some teams to lose. We need a lot of certain things to happen in the top 6. But yeah, we could definitely snag that. I think it's even possible that we snag the 2 seed, which would just blow my mind. Absolutely blow my mind after at one point being 4-4. But 6-4 for now. Got one more to win, would put us at 7-4 versus Adam. So definitely looking out for that. Facing Adam versus Adam back to back. If you guys didn't know, AAA, his name is actually Adam. And that's where he gets the 3 A's from, his name. AAA, it's his initials. Anyways, very good game, AAA. So glad to get that win over you. Not sure why things like Pex and I understand why Pex and Mega Altaria didn't come, but it was such a relief to not see them, and I think it tilted the game in my favor because some mons, even though they don't have the best matchup, some mons just scare people so bad. I'm not going to give off my fears in the format, but you guys probably know them already. Anyways, good game. Let me know what you guys think about the prep and the plays on both sides of the field. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. All the good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.